Okay, let's say right now, you're in the movie theaters, right? You're watching a preview, you get really excited for that movie. You're like, yes, I'm there opening night, I'm gonna get my buddies, we're gonna check it out. The movie comes out, you got all your friends, you're sitting there and you're watching the movie, and halfway through you're like, this isn't exactly what I thought it would be. You see, sometimes movie trailers are so good, the people that cut those trailers, they do such a wonderful job that it deceives us from the actual movie. So we're gonna talk about 3 movie trailers that happen to be way better than the finished product. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to Nerdistic. I'm your host, Chris Chavez, and I'm excited for today's episode because when it comes to movie trailers, I love them. I'm that type of person that has to get to the theater a little bit early so we can A, get our snacks, 2, get comfortable in our seats, and 3, get ready to watch the trailers. I know some people don't like watching trailers because they give away too much, and I get that. Some movies actually do, they give away the entire plot. But I just wanna, I wanna see certain things. Like I hear a hype about a movie, like this thing's happening, this person's in it, you just get the hype, then you see the trailer, and you can kind of, get your own feel for how you think that movie is going to end up. But like I said in the opening, sometimes trailers, they give us a little white lie. Which, when you think about it, that's what a trailer does. It's supposed to reel you in, right? It's supposed to hook you, It's like a Christopher Nolan trailer. You watch it, you're like, no idea what's going on. But it's Chris Nolan, so I'll watch it. So there were a couple movies I could have selected for this list, but 3 specifically just came to the top of my mind. And let's talk about them. So first one up is a comic book movie that came out way back in 2016. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the synopsis of it, give you a second and see if you can guess what it is. A secret government agency recruits some of the most dangerous, incarcerated supervillains to form a defensive task force. You know what this is. We're talking about Suicide Squad, David Ayer's version of Suicide Squad, to be matter of fact. No, listen, when we're talking about this film, we got excited for the cast, at least I did. I mean, Margot Robbie is absolutely spot on as Harley. I didn't mind Will Smith as Deadshot, but then you move on to other characters or other casting choices in the film and you get to Mr. Leto. Now, on paper, I think that works great, but he ended up making this amalgamation of the Riddler meets Penguin meets some form of a Joker. I don't know what, Sid Vicious. But, we could just go on at a whole other episode of why Jared Leto was horrible as the Joker. So the trailer opens up with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide. No escape from reality.
Now listen, anytime you start anything with Queen, it has to be epic. You have to live up to the music, right? The trailer goes from character to character. You can kind of see, you're like, oh, that's Killer Croc. Oh, there's Deadshot. That's Harley. Oh, it looks so good. You see all the different personalities of the characters that are building up this task force, right? And then you get to Amanda Waller talking about what we need to do is build this task force.
I want to assemble a task force of the most dangerous people on the planet. They're bad guys. Worst of the worst.
From that 2-second little conversation with Amanda Waller, it sets the plot. So you're like, okay, these people are dangerous. Let's go, I'm in. Then you see the DC logo with the Suicide Squad colors. You're like, okay, this seems really, really fun. And the thing about this trailer that I really enjoy, I love it when editors do this, when the action or like the gunfire matches up with the beat of the music, it reels you in a little bit more. And this trailer does it a lot.
This is the deal. You're going somewhere very bad. Do something that'll get you killed. So save the world.
And there's certain shots in the movie that you have no idea what the hell is going on. Like you see a man dressed as a giant panda bear shooting an Uzi. You're like, that just adds to the absurdness of this trailer. And besides the Joker, one thing that really stuck in all of our minds is you saw kind of a villain, right? You didn't really get to see, you saw the back of a head of someone of like 2 seconds. So there's the allure of like, who is the villain in this film? You have all this craziness that's going on, and then you're like, oh, there actually is a villain, but who is it? So that mystery reeled you in. And the trailer gives off a Guardians of the Galaxy type vibe, which is hilarious because, James Gunn rebooted the whole movie, which was way better. But it gave that Guardians of the Galaxy, this team shouldn't get along, but somehow it works kind of feel. And all that kind of put it in a bottle, you shake it up, and you give it to the public, and it's like, okay, this looks crazy enough that it might work. I'm excited. Jared Leto looks a little off, but I'll check it out. Then when you went to go see the movie, right? There are certain elements of the movie that worked, but dialogue wasn't good. Jared Leto's performance kind of distracted you. Killer Croc was just an abomination, horrible. Like, we could pick apart this movie, but what the trailer gave us was something really fun, really quirky, really quick, really, energetic, and it gave us this cool action sequence. And then the final product came out and it didn't really deliver as to what the trailer promised. Now, I might be alone in thinking that, about this film, but, I'm sure you'll let me know if I'm wrong or right. But all in all, this trailer really did deceive us. Thank God James Gunn, made his version of it, which was 10 times better. So next we're gonna move on to a sci-fi film that came out in 2014. That was a while ago. But let me read the plot and you'll know what it is. The world is bested by the appearances of monstrous creatures, but one of them may be the only one who can save humanity. We're talking about 2014's Godzilla, directed by Gareth Edwards. Now, right off the bat, before we dive into this, I just want to say I did enjoy this movie, but the reason why it's on this list is because the trailer made it out to be something different than what it was. Based off the cast alone, right, in Aaron Taylor Johnson, Elizabeth Olsen, Ken Watanabe, and Bryan Cranston. That's right, Breaking Bad Bryan Cranston. This should have been amazing. Now, the reason why I put it on this list is when the trailer starts, you have this dark, ominous music, right? And then over that, you hear Bryan Cranston's voiceover.
I want to talk to somebody in charge. You're not fooling anybody when you say that what happened was a natural disaster.
He's narrating kind of what's going on. You see little glimpses of things that are happening, right? And what this trailer kind of alludes to is Bryan Cranston is going to be the lead, right? He is front and center in this film.
You're lying. It was not an earthquake. It wasn't a typhoon. Because what's really happening is that you're hiding something out there.
I mean, Bryan Cranston's performance, just based off the trailer, is gripping, right? It's really intense. It's you can feel the fear in the way that he's, delivering his lines, and the way that you see him looking up at, like, there's Godzilla. Now, with the music that they chose in this film, and the destruction that you see throughout, the little snippets of what's going on in each scene, you feel that level of intense, right? You feel that panic, which is great because that's what you want. You have these giant monsters fighting each other. If that's real, you're gonna panic. But throughout the trailer, you see more Bryan Cranston than you do anyone else. You see Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson and Ken Watanabe, but you see Bryan Cranston more. So, that allures to, like I said, Cranston is going to be the lead of this movie. Now, when the movie comes out, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, it came out 2014, you should have seen it by now. Bryan Cranston's character dies early on in the film. So, imagine seeing an action movie with Tom Cruise and, let's say, I don't know, Wesley Snipes. And you see both of these guys going head to head, but early on, one dies, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that secondary character that I thought was a secondary character was actually the main character. Okay, I didn't see that coming. It just changes the way that you perceive the film because you thought it was going to be one thing and it turned out to be another. So having the absence of Bryan Cranston early on really did change the dynamic of it. But, yeah, you did adapt to it a little bit. You kind of understood, okay, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Elizabeth Olsen, okay. All right, they're the leads, but we're here to see Godzilla more than them. I get it. But that one little aspect of it kind of threw me off. So that's why Godzilla is on this list. Yet again, this is my list. You may love the fact that Cranston died early on. If so, who hurt you? And last but not least is another comic book movie, and my gosh, I know you're gonna agree with me on this one. I just know it. Okay, yet again, you're gonna know it by the first few sentences as I read the plot of this film. 4 young outsiders teleport to an alternate and dangerous universe, which alters their physical form in shocking ways. We're talking about 2015's Fantastic Four, directed by Josh Trank. So, where to begin with this trailer? I mean, it was kind of cool opening the trailer with Reed Richards as a kid, experimenting, blowing up the Transformer, and the entire, neighborhood lost their power because he's just a very smart kid. That was kind of cool. Now, I really did like the cast. I like how they chose to play these iconic characters that we know and love. And when you see them actually landing into the planet that they were, observing and they were getting samples from, the graphics look great because what we're used to was the other Fantastic Four, which sadly enough is better than this one.
Incredible.
As we see the characters when they came back to Earth. We see them with their powers for the first time, and the first thing that I thought of was the Thing. I mean, the Thing looked perfect in my opinion at the time, right? It looked better than the practical suit that Michael Chiklis wore way back in the day. But seeing all their powers, yet again, with an upgraded CGI budget, it looks great. I thought it was awesome. So what it has going for it at this point is the cinematography and the tone that they have set for this film is great. It looks more like a grounded kind of like, okay, we had this issue up in space, now we're here grounded on Earth, and there's a big threat. Dr. Doom. And when we do get a glimpse of Doom, it's really quick, and you're like, oh, okay, it looks kind of cool. I'm excited to see what he looks like. Maybe that was just him starting out since, you know, they all gain the powers at the same time. Maybe later on we can see the classic Doom that we're used to. That didn't happen. But the movie in general just had production issues from the get-go. And the second half of the movie felt really, really rushed, in my opinion. And then at times the CGI felt a little weird in the movie, which is crazy because the trailer, CGI looked great. But during the film, it looked a little off. And yet again, Dr. Doom. What was that? I mean, yeah, the production had a bunch of cuts and reshoots, and the director, I think, was drunk most of the time, and he was horrible to work with. I mean, the movie just was doomed from the get-go. That wasn't planned. That was all live right here. You saw that. But Fantastic Four, Fan4stick, we'll just continue calling it that because that's what it is. So Fan4stick definitely deserves to be on this list. I mean, let me know. I want you to specifically tell me your gripes of Fan4stick because that was just, Green Lantern was better in my opinion than that film. But guys, those are just 3 films that I thought the trailer was way better than the actual film. What movies did I miss? Let me know in the comments below. But guys, until next time, go out, watch some great movies, and we'll see you next time.